Damien Crawford, who if you start them a big disruption and IPMP and come forward and tell Jamaica about it. Now Damien Crawford come to the front of the line because you will come to talk about today. And we say so, and the delegate them in the PMP say so.
Yeah, remind the public that the JLP is on a full campaign of misinformation at every level. Recently, they have circulated a video of a communication that was made 5 years ago when Mark Golding was competing against Lisa Anna for leadership of the party. At that time, I analyzed the candidates to suggest where they were going. As you'll have heard in the video, I believe Mark Golding is highly competent and he has.
Hey guys, welcome back to Carib21 Network. This is Carib21 Live, where we go live on Saturday night and we discuss trending issues of the week. So this week I want to talk about Damien Crawford and all of the controversy this week about Damien Crawford wanting to challenge for leadership. I also just want to ask a question: why is it so wrong for Damien Crawford to challenge if he wants to be a leader? Because we know how the system works. If the leader loses an election, then it is customary that someone can challenge when they meet at the People's National Party conference, and I think that would be sometime next year. And the other topic that I also want to talk about is the Prime Minister of Jamaica, the Honorable Dr. Andrew Holness, and we saw where his wife, Juliet Holness, like she is Speaker of the House again, and that is something that the opposition is not happy with. So those were the two trending topics this week. And so on Saturday night, what we do give people the opportunity to call in and to share their thoughts on those topics. So the number is on the screen. And if you want to call in tonight to contribute to those topics, just take down the number and you can call on WhatsApp and contribute to the conversation. But these are the two topics that we're talking about this week. Damien Crawford, why is it wrong for Damien Crawford to challenge Mark Golding for leadership of the People's National Party? And are you comfortable with the Prime Minister wife being Speaker of the House again, even though the last time they had a problem with it, and before the cabinet was sworn in, Mark Golding and the People's National Party said that they were against that. So is this a good start for the Jamaica Labour Party for the Prime Minister's wife to be Speaker of the House again? So those are the two topics.
Damien Crawford, who if you start them a big disruption and PMP and come forward and tell Jamaica about it. Now Damien Crawford come to the front of the line because you will come to talk about today. And we say.
Yeah, Jamaica, good afternoon. I'm making this video just to remind the public that the JLP is on a full campaign of misinformation at every level. Recently, they have circulated a video of a communication that was made 5 years ago when Mark Golding was competing against Lisa Anna for leadership of the party. At that time, all PMP individuals had a duty to analyze the candidates to suggest where they were going. He has my full support in becoming the next Prime Minister of Jamaica. What it is that they are not wanting to talk about and seeking to distract from is that corruption has been the highest in Jamaica since they have been in the government. That each and every single one have almost become wealthy in the leadership of the country, and that there is a great concern about their type of leadership. What I don't want to have fulsome conversation about is that they What I don't want to talk about is that our children are getting 18% probability of getting 5 subjects. So do not delay yourself with this ridiculousness about whatever. There's no division in the People's National Party. That video that they have circulating is a 5-year-old video, and that was in the analysis of all candidates going forward for leadership. Let them remind you that Andrew Holness was suggested to be not smart, and that he was afraid of smart people by Christopher Khan. Let them remind you that the vast majority of them that is now in government was against Andrew Holness when he was challenged by Ali Shah. Also, let them remind you that they have proven themselves incapable of continuing to run this country. So ignore that and let us move on to 1 degree per household.
Anyway.
Okay, guys. So that was Damian Crawford showing his confidence in Mark Golding as the leader of the People's National Party, and to kind of put aside any controversy that he's going to eventually challenge. I still believe that Damian Crawford is going to challenge. I don't know what we saw took place when the opposition leader came out and said that the 27 members of parliament signed off, and one was away in the States and didn't sign off yet. I think that was pretty much a tactics to say, like, look, don't you dare try to challenge. Like, I'm going to run again in 2030 and try to fight off any ideas, anybody in the party that wants to challenge. And I think that was a bad move because, as I said, like, if you lose the election, the same way we saw Portia Simpson was challenged twice. We saw Peter Phillips was challenged, and Mark Golding was there when Peter Phillips was being challenged. So I think it's fair game now that if someone wants to challenge him, the same way they challenge Portia Simpson, the same way they challenge Peter Phillips, someone might want to challenge him, and I think that is fair game because at the end of the day, you want what is best for the party. And if people on the ground, because what I don't like about what Mark Golding did also, it's almost taking away the voice from the delegates, because the delegates, they are the ones on the ground. They are the ones that in the trenches, and they know what is good for the party and what people out in the streets, they're saying. You know, people out in the street might be saying that no, they want somebody else. So the delegates should have a chance. And if someone step up like a Damian Crawford or Peter Bunting to challenge, I don't think that should divide the party because it's democracy, and that's how democracy works. Like, if Mark Golding is confident in the delegates that put him there, and that he's confident that he's the best person for the country, then, welcome the challenge and just say, may the best man or the best woman win. And that is how I see, that is how I see it. But to see, what I was surprised to see though is people coming out and demonizing Damian Crawford, because I've said it quite a few times that Damian Crawford was the hardest working person this election on the side of the People's National Party. And if the People's National Party, if they won the election, I would have credited to Damian Crawford, because I've been keeping up with everything from day one. And Damian Crawford, down the final stretch, Damian Crawford was on every single interview, every podcast, every popular podcast in Jamaica, from the Let's Be Honest podcast to the Fix. Everywhere you look, you see Damian Crawford popping up, doing an interview. Damian Crawford was on the campaign trail. He was like the hype man on the campaign trail. So I believe that any success that came out of that, I would have credit Damian Crawford for that, because, as I said, Damian Crawford was out in the field doing the work. So I don't understand people now, because of this rumor, like even People's National Party, diehard People's National Party supporter, they are attacking him. So, as I said, if you are one of the person that don't think that there should be a challenge, that you think that Mark Golding should continue, Mark Golding should go on and continue leadership of the party until the next election, you are free to call in and share your views. Maybe you're seeing something that others are not seeing, So your views are welcome. So the numbers on the screen, and if you want to share your thoughts on why you think that Mark Golan should remain leader of the People's National Party, then you can do so. And do you think that there's any chance of him going up against the Prime Minister the next election and winning? Because I know people are saying the talk out there is that, look, the opposition leader did well because they're coming from 14 to 28, so I'm pretty much double up the seat. But to me, I don't buy that argument because Jamaica is divided, half PMP, half Labour, right, and somewhere in the middle you have independent. So the 14 seat that the PMP won back was their seat. They won back strong PMP seat. Even the Anne-Marie Valls seat, like when people came out and people were like surprised that Isaac Buchanan win and they were celebrating that, I didn't see that as a big victory because that was a strong PMP seat anyway. Like the JLP just took it the last couple of elections. So, but as I said, if you want to share your thoughts why you think that Mark Golan should remain the leader of the People's National Party, then you can call in and do so. I know I'm going to play a voice note of someone from the People's National Party, like a vlogger attacking. This is just one of the videos because there are many videos and voice recordings out there of people warning Damien Crawford about his political career and say, like, look, if you ever challenge, your political career is over, which I think is crazy because Damien Crawford is one of the brightest mind in the People's National Party right now. And even if people don't think that he is mature enough to be the leader, even if people don't think he has what it takes to be the leader, the reality is that he is one of the most popular persons in the People's National Party. I dare you to point out someone else that is as popular as Damien Crawford. So let me play this voice recording. And remember, the numbers on the screen, you can call in and contribute if you feel so.
Me people, me hear the Labour right them going around and bragging and hyping up, saying how somebody in the party I got challenge Mark Golding. They must say a Damien Crawford I got challenge Mark Golding. Well, let me make this clear. I want somebody tag Damien Crawford right now. Tagging me people. Let me tell you something. You say Mark Jefferson Golding, he is the one that unite the party. The party did mash up. The party did mash up. And if anybody feels say, them are going to stand up and challenge Mark Golding, you have we the bloggers to deal with. Let me tell you that. Whether it's Damien Crawford or somebody else, you have we to deal with. Because we not going to allow UNO to set back the People's National Party. And Damien Crawford, if you really a think to do that, brother, you need to left the party for now. Me I tell you, me I warn you, because me personally, I got drag you. Me personally, me I tell you for now. You understand me? So anyone I want to feel like say, you can come, yeah, make Andrew Wellness appear, Only things that we are idiot. We are not fool boy, Damien Crawford. If you think say, you're going to make one thiefing boy, yeah, come make you mash up the People's National Party, it ain't going to happen. So if you have that in your mind, brother, or anyone I want to have that in your mind, you better take it out from now. You better take it out because I only one leader and a one Mark Golding, one Marky G, one Marky British. Me just send out a warning, Damien Crawford, to you or anybody, because me hear the Labour right them I say it. Me hear Nationwide mention it one time, so they question you and you were tight lip. You understand me? So if you feel say, we not go turn around and turn backstabber, and we the people are going to allow that, we make a sad mistake. So anyone who have that in our head, or Damien Crawford, if you make the little idiot Labour right, them always tell about, make Damien Crawford be Prime Minister, make Damien Crawford be a leader, and that flare up in your head, you have a next thing coming. You have we the blogger to deal with. because you, Damian Crawford, will never be our opposition leader. May I tell you from now? You understand me? Tell me now. You tell me now. Can you really believe this? Mighty God of Daniel. Me say if you don't have that in our intention, take it out. Take it out. Because I said you don't want to set back the People's National Party. So you don't want to take money from Andrew Holness to set back the People's National Party. You know crazy? You know crazy? Listen to me, Damian Crawford, or anybody else we feel like say them are going to try to go up against Mark Goldin. You no need to come down now. Might as well you just lift up from out of parliament. Might as well you lift up from out of parliament. Damian Crawford, you're not ready yet. Let me tell you that. You're not ready yet. You're not ready yet. Because you know one little debate and the way how you sweat to blouse and skirt. You're not ready yet. So if you have that in your mind, me no know if you have it yes or no, you know. But me just send you a warning. Say we the bloggers and the people out here, we don't want you. You understand? If you want to be leader, go on to the Jamaica Labour Party. And that may I tell you. And if anybody else, I think the same, or if you don't have that in our mind, or no go on to the Jamaica Labour Party. Or no go on to the Jamaica Labour Party.
Yeah, so that is what I didn't really understand, because as I said, Damian Crawford has been he's been on the campaign trail, doing everything, doing all the heavy lifting, and now to see people coming out there cussing him off and saying they're ready for the leadership and all of that, or he will never be the leader. That is what I'm not understanding, because as I said, Mark Goldin was there when Peter Phillips was being challenged. Was that, did they hold the same thought back then? Was Mark Goldin and Peter Bunting mashing up the party or whatever when they made the challenge? So that is what I'm confused about. And the reality is that Mark Goldin is what, 60 years old. Mark Goldin is 60 years old. The next election is going to be 65. And Andrew Holness is on his fourth term now, pretty much being prime minister, the one where it was handed over to him on the 3 that he won. And he's, 10, 12 years younger than Mark Goldin. And I just don't believe that a 65-year-old Mark Goldin is going to beat Andrew Holness. And I've said it in a lot of other videos that I've done, that Andrew Holness, according to all of the attacks that came from the People's National Party, and using all the things, corruption, the Integrity Commission, how much bank account them same have, all of the being unpopular during COVID time, people talking about the abuse of power, shutting off dance and stuff like that. There's a lot of things that people were upset about, and Mark Goldin was still not able to beat him. So just imagine Andrew Holness now with the unemployment rate, a low unemployment rate, the crime rate is going down, like a 50% reduction in murders. Just imagine if Andrew Holness continues on that trajectory, and in the next 3 to 4 years, there's an improve on education, because we all know that education took a big hit during the pandemic. A lot of learning loss, not just in Jamaica, but across the Caribbean and just across North America. Like most countries in the world, they're dealing with a learning loss from the pandemic. So if the Prime Minister is successful on those things, if the Prime Minister is able to take back JPS, that is a big one that nobody's talking about. To take back JPS and Jamaicans seeing like a 25 or 30% reduction in their light bill, crime is down, low unemployment rate, education results getting better. How would Mark Goldin face up to like a Andrew Holness doing all of these type of things? So that's why I believe that is why the principle is there. Like if you lose an election and you go to the conference, then it is expected that you can expect a challenge. And that is why things are set up like that. So for people to say that, look, it is disrespectful for him to challenge Mark Golan, that I can't see that kind of mindset. And I know with everything coming out now and all of the controversy, I don't think that he's probably not going to do it, because, you know, as people said, that it would be political suicide, and Damien Crawford is just getting a seat and all of that. And, you know, they probably talk behind the scene, and Mark Golan said, look, if you win, like, you'll get a good, you know, portfolio. We'll give Minister of Education, or we'll give something high profile. But if you go up against me now and you lose, then you don't have a future in the party. So I don't know what that is going to be, but I just don't think it's a good idea, because, you know, Damien Crawford is one of the most popular. I did a poll this week with over 2,000 people took the poll, and Lisa Anna still the most popular, even though she's not a part of the People's National Party anymore. Damien Crawford was next, and then Mark Golan and Peter Bunting. So if he's not even the most popular in the People's National Party, I don't see why it is that bad, you know, to launch to challenge him. And, you know, one of the things that people not really talking about, like, a lot of young people, a lot of youth see themselves in someone like Damien Crawford. And I think that is why Andrew Holness is so popular. Like, Andrew Holness was the youngest prime minister in Jamaica's history, the first prime minister to be born after independence. Andrew Holness came with all of the things that other prime ministers never come with before, like, you know, the bro god, the swag, all of that type of stuff. 1 p.m., you know, all of that type of thing. Now we see in this election, they're trying to do the same thing with Mark Golan, you know, the Marky G or the Marky British or one Marky G, but it just don't seem to work as best as how it worked with Andrew Holness. The whole bro god thing with Andrew Holness took off and took him to a different level, even though a lot of people didn't like it. You know, a lot of people didn't like it, a lot of Christians didn't like it, a lot of church people didn't like it, but it resonated with the young people in the street and it worked. And this whole thing, this election with the 1 p.m., it catchy, you know, it sell off. But the one Marky G is not as effective as that. And, you know, these are things that we have to talk about. And one of the things I'm disappointed too is that if the People's National Party, the leadership, if you care about Jamaica and care about being a strong opposition or even getting back in power, you would want to put the best person up there that is going to give you a chance to win. And not necessarily the person who have to be the most ready, because Andrew Holness was not the most ready when he won after Bruce Golan had to step down. There are other people in the party, other veteran in the party, Pernell Charles, Babsy Grange, like I can name a lot of veterans in the party who feel like them do for them time, and this young youth just come in and I gonna be prime minister. But he was the one for the moment, and you can see the result now, winning the 3 straight election. And I believe that if things stay the same and they go up against each other, I believe that the result is going to be the same. I think that Mark Golan is not going to be able to beat Andrew Holness. So yeah, those are just my thoughts. I don't know, people might think otherwise, but those are just my thoughts. And yeah, the prime minister in New York, at the United Nations, and the Caribbean represented well at the United Nations, as they always do. What I like about the prime minister being in New York also is that, see, the prime minister reaching out to the Jamaican community. Like, you know, he went on the trip for the United Nations General Assembly, but he also took the opportunity to meet with the diaspora. And I think PJ Patterson was one of the first prime minister that started the whole diaspora thing. But I like how since that I saw Portia Simpson when she was prime minister, she did it. And now we see Andrew Holness. Even earlier this year, last year, we saw the prime minister in New York. We saw him all over the place, meeting with Jamaicans overseas. And as a Jamaican living overseas myself, I can say that a lot of Jamaicans appreciate that. A lot of Jamaicans, we know that remittance is a big thing going into Jamaica, and a lot of people in the diaspora felt that they didn't have a voice. So to see the Prime Minister taking the time now, being at the United Nations General Assembly, and take the time to go and to reach out to Jamaicans in New York and to sit down and to have a talk and to share the plans of the future, I think that is a good move. And I think this entire weekend at the UN was like a big win for the Prime Minister. And as we're talking about the Prime Minister, the other thing that's a hot button topic this week is the Prime Minister's wife, Juliet Holness, when she was pretty much the entire cabinet went back, as was the education minister, the finance minister, health minister, and she went back as Speaker of the House. And the PMP put out a statement before that they hope that they don't put her back as Speaker of the House. And, they're upset now that she's back as Speaker of the House. And the talk is that, like Andrew Holness, the Prime Minister's paycheck is $28 million. I know the Prime Minister says still taking the old paycheck, but that is the Prime Minister's paycheck, and his wife paycheck is over 22 million. So they're calling them the power couple and saying, nepotism. Why did he have to put his wife in that position to be the Speaker of the House? But one of the things that, like I've always said, like I can understand in politics, if you are the party leader and you appoint your wife to certain top position, I can understand how that look. I know nepotism is in play there. That is completely understandable. But where the People's National Party went wrong, where they have to blame themselves, is that if you weren't comfortable with the Prime Minister's wife being Speaker of the House, why was she Deputy Speaker of the House? And that is the question I believe that the opposition leader need to answer, and the opposition need to answer, because she was always Deputy Speaker of the House. And this thing about deputy is that, when you're deputy, when the speaker goes down, there's going to be an opportunity for you to be Speaker of the House. So I believe that if they wanted more people to pay attention to this and for this to be as valid as they think it should be, is that they should have started making up noise from when she was Deputy Speaker of the House, because being Deputy Speaker of the House, that she's too close to being Speaker of the House. So that is when they should have, don't wait until she becomes Speaker of the House. And then even when she became Speaker of the House, a lot of people, they did not say anything until she was appointed and sitting in the chair. So that is the next hot topic for this week. The Prime Minister's wife being Speaker of the House, and the party, like, they're pretty much going back where they left off, which if you ask someone who's a diet GLP, they're going to say, like, if it's not broken, don't fix it, Like, this last couple of months or for this year, the Jamaica Labour Party have seen a lot of success with the current group of people in their positions. The tourism minister, they're arguing that, look, the tourism minister have seen a lot of success in tourism. Why change him? Why change it if it's not broken? Babs Grange, nobody expected her to move from that position, so that is no surprise. We saw Christopher Tufton, and they made the argument that Christopher Tufton, there's billions of dollars in project that Christopher Tufton started, and Christopher Tufton get a lot of beating from the public for some of the overrun in the cost to build a hospital, and how some of the hospital them taking long for bill and stuff like that, and just healthcare in general not where it's supposed to be. So it makes sense that he's there to see the continuation of all the project that is going on. And even himself, on the last interview that I saw with Christopher Tufton, him say, yes, like, him get a whole beating from the Jamaican people. So at least it is good that he can be there to cut the ribbon from the hospitals that are currently being worked on. So, and yeah, the Speaker of the House, I don't know if Mark Golden was expecting that if he came out and said, look, you talk about let us work together and to achieve stuff, we need to work together with Jamaica becoming a republic. We need to do all of this thing because now the opposition bench is much stronger with 28, and him stretching across the island said, look, let us work together, but if you want to start off on a good note, you can't make your wife be Speaker of the House. So, but they didn't bite, and she's now Speaker of the House again, and we will see if that is going to cause any problem. Like if the People's National Party are going to say, like, you start off on a bad note, you make your wife Speaker of the House, which we did not want. So your dreams and aspiration of Jamaica becoming a republic and you being the prime minister, when that happens, we are going to fight that. So I don't know if that is going to be the approach, but we will see. So yeah, so those are the two topics that were like the hot topics of the week. And yeah, I just wanted to come in and touch base on those two topics. So yeah, today is going to be a shorter version, half an hour instead of an hour. So I'm just going to leave it right there, and feel free to leave your comment in the comment section. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more amazing content. And remember, peace. I'm out.